What's up, you guys? Welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to talk about Italian building permits, and I'm going to cover quickly, hopefully in less than a few minutes, all the things just to give you a refresher or a crash course on your next remodel here in Italy. So I hope you find this information useful. Very first thing to know is things you can do without permission. Okay, so putting aside the building permits for a second, things that you can do without permission, like notifying the city, are things like painting and doing the floor in your own home. Well, that would sound pretty obvious. There's actually a pretty big list of things, but I'm going to brush over most of them and tell you the things like this, plus solar panels, as long as you're not in a historical center. If you're looking at museumeli or things like that, or communities like that, where you're right there in the middle, most likely you'll need to talk to the community. It might not be allowed, but make sure to ask. If you are going to change your heat pump, as long as it's underneath a 12 kilowatt system, you don't need to ask as well. Okay, so let's move on, because that's pretty much easy to understand. The building permit side, there are three that I'm going to talk about. I'm not talking about new construction, I'm talking about remodels. The first one are things that you can do without asking help by a professional, and just called it Cila, okay, C-I-L, and it just means I certify that I am starting to work, okay, is what the acronym stands for in English. And what you need to know about this is that there are very few things that are on this list. One of the things on this list is also on the list you can do without asking permission, to like pave an exterior space, like a terrace or something. If you're going to change the aesthetic around your house in an area where you perhaps have passage through it, like I do actually have a house that's on the opposite side of this private space I have. So I'm not really supposed to do this kind of work on this area without notifying. Other things are most likely something you're not going to face. Things you need, perhaps you need to construct something for a temporary period, less than 90 days, and this is what category that would fit in. And the other one is like if you're going to put like a water collection barrel underneath the ground, then you need to, as long as the public doesn't have access to it, you can use this Cila, C-I-L application to notify the community that you're doing it. Okay, the other two categories are going to be what's most important to you. Cila, not chinchilla, Cila, C-I-L-A, stands for this. Basically, I'm certifying work again, the start of work, and there's this whole process involved, but this is the first category that you actually need a professional, like a geometra, which is a project manager for you, who he will be responsible, kind of like an architect, to design the final floor plan and submit it to the community so that they have on file all the information. This geometra will communicate, fill out this application, a big application, smaller than the next category, but this Cila covers anything that is a little bit heavier of a remodel that is not structurally going to change the property. Okay, remember, this is just a review. Things like I'm changing the interior walls, interior doors, as long as they're not super innovative. Things like what I used it for example, is I had a property here in Italy, or near my home, that I bought an auction, and I hope you can follow me through this. When it was lost, it was one property, but legally it was 3 properties. So I bought one. I had to unify it into one property to officially buy it. And then I had to divide it into 2 properties, because instead of having 3 small ones, I wanted 2 medium-sized properties. They ended up being 100 square meters each. So I used the Cila application to accomplish the division and unification of these properties. Okay, so again, there's more to do with this, but I'm trying to make this video a little bit short for you. The next category is heavy remodels. Okay, Scia is what the acronym would be, and it just again means that I'm starting to work. A certification that I'm working. Notification of start of activity is kind of the translation. But the idea is this is where it gets structural. If you're going to change a lot of your property. What I should mention previously, I forgot to mention, is that if you're going to change your water pipes and your gas lines and things like that, that's probably in the Cila category, not in the Scia category. The Scia category is structural changes, like I'm changing my roof. A Scia is for structural changes. And you also need an architect. Most likely you're going to have a group of people like engineers, architects, and geometers working on this for you. That's it for today's video. Go ahead and give this a big like. I invite you to comment in the video of if you're doing a remodel now, or if you're planning on doing a remodel. If you have any questions, feel free, and if I don't know the answer, I know who to ask or where to look for the answer, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.